Hello, happy Friday, fabulous Friday, freak off Friday, whatever it is to you. We are here. We made it to the end of a week. And let me tell you, we have an amazing show in store for you. Market's getting hit this morning. Throughout the course of this week, I think that we have kept our promise of delivering on what it takes to help you achieve your goals as a trader. Not only do we do a slew of giveaways, to help the community out. We also brought on guests that talk psychology, talk levels. So we had Forrest, Barbie, Terry talking their trades, their levels in real time. Again, the point of the show is not only to entertain and engage you, and I do think we are the most entertaining and engaging show out there, but also to do whatever it takes to make you a better trader. I am merely your host. So I read every chat comment that comes in. I really do. So if you have questions, ideas, levels, setups, charts, whatever it is to talk about, I am here for it. I'd like to start off with just a couple giveaways. How does that sound? Sounds great, Luke. We'd love to do giveaways. Jay Dennis, I'm going to give a 50K starter plus 2. Jan, I'm going to give a 50K starter plus 2. And JPD Trades, 50K starter plus account. That's how we do it. That's how we open these Fridays. As a preview of what is to come, first, I'm going to ask you all to like the stream, to share the stream. I'm going to have some bounties in store for y'all. Then we're going to talk about ES and NQ. We're going to get the levels from our expert traders, Ms. Bull Barbie, Mr. VPE Forrest. We then are going to go into the most interesting chart of the day. Every single day, we deliver on what is the most interesting chart of the day. I have the preview as to what today's chart is. You do not, so stay tuned. You want to find it. It's going to be an asset that is not on your radar. We're going to cover the open, and we're going to field questions from the group. So how does that sound? Sounds great. Awesome. All right, guys, let's do it. I'm going to start with the first bounty of the day. If you share the stream and send an email to Luke at MyFundedFutures.com, again, that's Luke at MyFundedFutures.com, you're entered to win a free 50K starter plus account. Again, first bounty of the day. You got to share the stream on your X, on your Discord, your Facebook, whatever it is. Send a screenshot of your share to Luke at MyFundedFutures.com, and you are entered to win. You have 10 minutes to do so. With that, I'd like to welcome Bull Barbie and VPE Forrest.
Good morning.
What's up, guys?
Y'all are like, got the dark backgrounds.
Yeah, Forrest and I are in the same place.
I got to turn my wall on.
Light it up. It's Friday.
I'm going to turn it on for you. Hold on. I got you.
I'm gonna wake Forrest up, y'all.
Forrest, were you partying last night? I was. I went to I went to a Thursday wedding. It's an Indian wedding, so I got like these jingly bracelets. If you all can hear that. I got a little smiley face henna tattoo. Cute. It's cute.
What'd you get those bracelets for, Luke?
Yeah, there are a couple stories out of that night that we don't need to talk about on Freak Off Friday. Let's start with ES, Barbie. What do we got?
Well, drama, right? It took a massive dump. Let's look at it. I actually wanted to start. I normally start on the daily, but I wanted to start on the weekly today because I always like to put everything in context. So here's last week's candle. Of course, that one's done. And here's this week's candle. We got one more day left. So kind of looking barcodey right now. It doesn't hurt my feelings that much that we had this massive dump and it's kind of right down by this level because that's a level we can look at. So let's look at it. Since this is a weekly candle, that would be last week's low. And so I marked it right here. Last week's low, 57.34.25. So that's an important level that I'm looking at. Something else that I kind of noticed is that's also in the gap. So this yellow box here is the gap from beginning of May. When was that? No, May 11th. So mid-May. But that's that gap that we had put in when the market was feeling a lot more happy. So we're back there, down there to revisit it. This is very normal for the market. The market likes to revisit these levels where trading was incomplete, like a gap. It also likes to trade levels where the auction was incomplete because we skipped over a bunch of orders pre-market. So we're kind of between those two spots right now. So I'll show you what I'm looking at. This is just like the most obvious level right here is this pre-market low. So that pre-market low, 57, 56, 50 on ES, that's obviously the trigger to work down to last week's low and potentially into these gap levels. So that's the obvious bearish plan. It's pretty obvious there. So yesterday I was looking at my bear target was this 58.21 area. So we finally got that. Mission accomplished. Moving on to the next plan. So if it keeps moving lower, I'm going to look for the trigger to be the pre-market low there and see if we can target the last week's low and potentially play around in this gap, get this closed up. The other scenario is this an overreaction? So a lot of times the market has these, it's like an emotional reaction, fear, greed, all that sort of thing. It's an emotional reaction. Sometimes those emotional reactions are a bit dramatic and we need to pull back inside of them. So that's another scenario that we have going. The kind of most obvious target, if we're going to start retracing, is the century mark 5,800. But then we also have our bear target from yesterday because that was potential support down there. Now it's resistance. So the bullish plan would just be working our way back up through these levels. First 5,800, then we've got the 58.20. This is also that trend line that I kept bringing up on the hourly. I don't want to zoom out right now, but y'all trust me, it's there. And then back up to the pre-market or the low from Thursday. So normally, if we hadn't had this major drop, I would be looking at yesterday's highs and lows for kind of our range to break. We've already broken down to one side. So it's less likely, I don't remember what the statistics are. I think we talked about this the other day, but it's less likely that we're going to take this high. We could. That's going to be a short squeeze situation. So we would have to, in order to really start, doing a short squeeze, it would be getting up into the 58.50, which would be a full retracement of this overnight drama, because this is the level that we lost. So if we're going to squeeze and trigger shorts, it's going to be up over that level. If we're going to be really boring, we're going to stay inside of this candle and chop around inside of it. Maybe come up to century, maybe come up to 58.21 and just kind of fail back and chop around. So that's what I'm looking at on ES.
All right. And you haven't taken any action yet today, correct?
I haven't. I was sleeping for all this. I was not up for that yet, so I have not participated in any of that. So right now, since we've already had this one big move, that was the setup. That one's complete. That trade's over. I'm not going to try to jump into this. It's already done. So I'm looking for the next setup. So that's where these levels are.
All right. VPE. Volume Profile Expert. Volume Profile Edges. Volume Profile Executor. What do we got? NQ, baby.
Cleaning up my ES here real quick. But yeah, let's jump over to NQ right now. Get rid of this. All right. So why do I have this blue line? We rejected off of it. Don't remember drawing that. See, this is why you need to do all your drawings on the same chart. That's funny. So whatever.
That's what I do. I keep them all in one place, but then I can just turn them all off. I have them in a folder so I can go away, get out of my way. Someone was just asking me, how do I see all this stuff? I was like, I turn off the stuff I don't need when I don't need it.
There you go. Let's eliminate these for now. And start from scratch on the daily. So obviously, big down move overnight. What do you do? I guess the question for today really is, what do we do as a trader, right? We come up on a Friday often very chill day. We had a huge pre-market down candle, right? The market has made a wave. It's already made one move. And so we need to imagine there's either going to be a reversal of this move of equal magnitude, or it's going to do another leg, right? So both of or it pins, right? So if it pins, we're basically not going to move outside of this little node that we've on the lower.
When you say pins, Forrest, what exactly do you mean by that?
That means it's going to chop and then close around the POC, the current POC. It's going to pin, right? So it's already moved. It's made its move for the day. It's not going to move much more. Those are really the three options when you do a big market, a pre-market move like this. So full-on reversal of the price action, continuation equal leg, right, which brings us down to this gap down here, 20,363, or it just stays around in this level. So first obvious level will be 20,363, maybe even a little bit further, right? This little edge right there. I'll actually just box it out. Use a little box tool here, right? So traversing this low value area fully to this next edge, and we'll just call this price target lower. If we go to the lower time frames, we don't even have to go to the lower time frames. It would just be the beginning of this move, right? Full on reversal would be our higher move in a situation like this. We go to the 4 hour. Man, I spend so much of my life waiting for this thing to load, I feel like now. Anyways, we have this level, this node above us from this consolidation, right? So I could box that out. I'm not going to, right? There's a bunch of people participating here. We just moved away from them. We're in this low value area in here, right? All of this low value, we ripped through it. I mentioned yesterday, if we crack lower, we're going to rip through it. Obviously, this is why I don't watch data. The data, the catalyst, the news, it always coincides with what's on the charts, like 10 out of 10 times. So it ripped through this low value area, got a nice fat candle. So for now, what I'm really looking for is what are we going to do here at the open around the auction that is formed. So let's zoom into, let's just go real low. Let's go to the 15-minute. And we have this little node right here that we formed, right? So they've accumulated some volume here and they set up prices. And then there is the volume way up here. So we have two magnets. There's two places that matter in the auction right now. If we pin, that means that we're not going to leave this price area. Okay. We're just going to range here in this price area. That would be the pin thesis. If we full on reverse, we should expect this high here, 20,837, to get cracked pretty soon at the open. And this will just, rip back higher. And then obviously this low right here, 20,728. If it gets taken out early, right? If we chop down early, then I would expect that second wave today. I don't really have a bias for either of those options. I really want to see if we either do the reversal or if we go lower. That being said, if we go to the 4 hour, it's obviously a high volume down candle, but it is bottom wicking right here, and they set prices. Same with the 1 to 2 and all those other time frames. So the 10 a.m. candle here is going to be just this candle unless something dramatically changes. So this will be a day where I'm watching the 1 or the 30-minute here early to see what happens. But it's going to play it light. Don't chase. If you feel like you missed something, you didn't. Just got to relax. So that's my plan.
And if we have a shot at getting some of that action, which maybe we're not expecting, but we could have, would that happen around the open? Is that what your expectation would be?
In the first 30 to 45 minutes of the day is really what I want to see, because that's going to determine continuation, reversal, or pin. Right? We'll know very, very quickly what the day wants to do for NQ. Gold is doing something interesting, but I'll come back to that later. I'm not going to look at that until after 10, most likely. And then someone mentioned platinum as well. I didn't ask, but I'm looking at it. Platinum's doing this very rangy thing, and it's at the top of this range. Cracked it. So I want to see if we do a high volume down candle on the date, then I'll probably take a short on platinum all the way down to this 922. area and just play that range. So that'll be interesting. If it closes how I want to on the daily, we'll see. It'll be a little swing trade. That's all I got for now.
That's all you got. All right. You're going to have more. But I got a couple things. One, I just put a poll in the chat. I mean, you heard from Barbie, you heard from Forrest. Barbie, could you call out the key levels again, just to recap that for us?
Yeah, I can go over there. So the pre-market low is 57.5650. I'm looking for last week's low. If we break that, 57.3425. We also have this gap. We have an old magnet level, 57.12. I didn't really bring that one up, but there's just a lot of little mess down in here. The full gap fills 56.84. I don't think I called that out, but we talked about that one a lot. So that's kind of the full bear range that I'm looking for today. For retracements up through this drama candle here, I was looking for 5,800, 58.29.
That's a massive move.
Yeah.
I'm the hype man of the show. I gotta be like, whoa, what's happening? The world is collapsing.
Yeah, well, I just always take everything one level at a time. So I look at it and it's like, here's the support level we were watching. I told you I was looking for that to be support the other day, and it was the other day, but we made it through. So here we are. So that's the way it works. We just go level by level.
All right. So, folks, you just got the levels recapped again from Barbie. You heard from her. You heard from Forrest. No action on yet. We'll look at the open. We'll look at the 10 a.m. You got a little tease that we're going to come back to gold. I put a poll in the chat that said, do you have a trade on? The options were yes, no, or I'm only here for Terry. So if you answered yes, 18% of you answered yes, a minority, and I think that's what we would expect. I'd love to hear what your trade is. When did you enter? What's your target? Why? Put that in the chat. We'll talk about it. You will get some expert opinions from professionals, from your members.
Who's buying drinks tonight? That's what I want to know. Who's already hit it and who's buying drinks tonight? Not me yet.
All right. Why not? Do you need to hit a big one?
I mean, I don't need to. I don't mind it. It has been a slower week for me anyway. Maybe some of y'all have hit a big one this week. I've not had a big one.
So we're going to put Barbie's Venmo in the chat. So
yeah.
All right. I did the first bounty for free accounts. So I'm going to read off some winners. All right. We got a decent number of entries, but everybody's odds of winning are pretty good. So first winner, Adil, you are taking home a free 50K Starter Plus account. I've got Yasin, Yassin, taking home a free 50K Starter Plus account. Where's my calculator? I've got an AI running that's selecting these winners. Oscar is the recipient of a free 50K starter account. And Jason Kong, you, sir, are taking home a free 50K starter plus account. Do you give a little round of applause for those in the chat? And don't worry, there will be more. We got more accounts coming, but give a nice little pat on the back to your fellow community members. If you have not yet liked the stream, please do so now. If you have not yet subscribed to the stream, please do so now. If you have not put in the trade that you're making, please do so now. As a preview for what is ahead, our good friend Terry had a trade this morning. So we're going to bring Terry on to talk her trade. That'll take us right into the open. We will monitor the open. After the open, we're going to deliver the most interesting chart of the day. And then finally, we will get to gold. So we got a trade recap. We have the open. We have the most interesting chart of the day. We have gold. If there's anything else you want to see, anything else you want to talk about, put it in the chat. We read them all. We are here for you. And I am going to offer up the next bounty. Dun, dun, dun. All right. I'm putting a link in the chat with code YouTube. Code YouTube. If you have never worked with MyFundedFutures before, you will get 50% off any plan with this code. I promise you 50% off of any plan with this code. If you have worked with us before, don't worry. You get a free reset with any account purchase. Link is going in the chat. The code is YouTube. Going to pick 5 winners out of anyone who purchases to win a free 50K Starter Plus account. You've got 15 minutes. And your odds of winning this one are much higher because it's a much smaller pool. Code is in the chat. Like the stream, share this stream, and please welcome our dear friend, Terry.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Hey, you gonna help
Happy
me wake
Friday.
this guy up?
What's up?
Yo,
You gonna help me wake this guy up?
Yes, good morning, Forrest.
I'm
Good
awake,
morning.
y'all.
Wake up.
I say what needs to be said. Okay. Sometimes I'm a little more excited, but I'm awake. I'm over. I slept for like 9 hours, which is rare. I'm usually like a
I
4 to
didn't
5.
get that.
That's really
Thank you.
good. I can't remember the last time I've slept for that
Yeah.
long. So yes, we have 5 minutes before the market's going to open. We got that big dump that you were talking about, Barbie.
Massive dump.
Oh, can you see my screen? That is my screen.
We got you.
So earlier this morning, I wake up really early. I'm in Central Time. Not always, but usually, like, I'm awake by 5 a.m. And I turn on the screens, right? And I'm just like, okay, what's happening? I saw we were just trading around VWAP. This is my favorite indicator if I can only have one. And I was just thinking that we would have like more of a bear day was kind of my intuition. So when it was bouncing off VWAP around here, I put on a short with brackets. I was risking 500 for 500. And then, so what the price I kept getting in at was around 170, 21,170. You guys, I put on this trade a total of 4 times. The first 3 times, I would put it on, it would go in my direction by about like 10, 15 points. I would move my stop to break even, like just, 1 point below break even. And the market would come back and hit it. And I'm like, okay, let me just try again because I didn't lose anything on the trade, right? So I put it on again, same thing. And I think I was just being a little stubborn why I put it on the 4th time. I'm like, okay, this is it, last time, because I know I could feel myself, the emotions, like, okay, I'm gonna get tilted if I keep this up. And so the 4th time, and then this happened. So it miraculously worked. Sometimes luck falls in your favor, and sometimes it doesn't. And this morning it fell in my favor. So that was awesome. That was this morning.
Was it miraculous or is it the market doing what it needed to do and you just got your timing right finally?
It was totally random. It was sometimes the randomness falls in your favor and sometimes it doesn't. And it's like, how do we stay centered and not get tilted? And then how do we recognize when the emotions start to ramp up? And like I noticed, I was like, okay, this is the 4th time, like already, that's like a red flag, right? Like trying the same trade 4 times. But I will say the only reason why I did 4 times is because I hadn't lost anything on that trade idea. Yeah. And I know
I've been there though. Like when you keep going after it, that can be kind of mentally daunting because sometimes you don't end up getting it at the end of the day.
What would you do differently with that trade, Terry?
What would I do differently? I think I wouldn't have risked so much. So I tend to go risk on. You guys don't copy me ever. Don't copy me ever. I tend to go risk on. I'm the type of trader where I am continually trying to pull back, right? Okay, market is going to open in 1 minute. Just a heads up, you guys. Yeah, so I think, Forrest, to answer your question, that is what I would do different. I was in more than one contract, one mini. I will be completely honest. So that is what I would do different. I will say this account though that I did it on, I had a big cushion, like well over $10,000 in this funded account. So I felt comfortable risking how much I was risking. But like I said, don't copy me.
That's actually a good point, because like I had mentioned earlier, I have not had a massive week. It's been kind of boring. I've had good hits, but I haven't had that one that's like, oh, that was a great day. So I don't have as much room to play with today. So that's gone into my plan a little bit. So I'm not going to be as aggressive today because I don't have the big buffer. So
Yeah.
if I'd had like one of those massive days where it's just, you know, you do 5 times what you normally do, maybe I'd be able to play with that a little bit more, but not
Yeah,
today.
I think that brings up such a good point, Barbie. So the market is open. We're pushing green right now. That brings such a good point, because I hear people say often, don't trade your P&L. And I tend to agree with that. However, I will share just the way I trade with trying to get payouts and getting paid for my efforts. And with the size of our accounts, I personally do actually look at my account balance. I do look at my P&L. Just the way I trade, like if I start to make money for the day, like let's say I'm up like $500, I will risk a portion of that. Sometimes all of it. I don't want to risk all of it. That is something I'm working on. I only want to risk 50%. That is where I'd like to be, like my next goal of like behavioral change. But like, yeah, I do look at my P&L because I need to know where I'm at. Forrest, do you look at P&L at all?
Nah. I mean, obviously, like I will look at it, but like I said, I would recommend even turning off the like anything with your P&L on your screen, and just seeing if I like to see if my trades play out is really my thing. I just want to see if my.
So you're watching the levels and not the what you're potentially winning, right?
Not necessarily the levels, just the. Once I get into a trade, I just want to know, like, am I right or wrong, really? Because my approach to trading is really like market research. So what I'm interested in this trade is what can I learn from it so that I can leverage up more later. I'm always thinking about continuing to leverage up over, think of like years, right? I want to figure out what are the absolute things that I can be certain about. That's really what I'm investigating. So every day when I think about trading, it's like I'm trying to learn as much as possible. So I want to test my ideas. Ideally, like if I had a perfect setup, if I had some amazing intuition about the day, I would full port. Sounds crazy, but like if there was something I was absolutely certain of, I would full port my entire net worth into it. I'm not certain of anything to that degree. So it's like, think of it as a spectrum. So there's certain trades I'm very certain of, and I'll do like 5 to 10 NQ on those. If there's something I'm like scalping, or I'm just like, you know, have an itchy finger, I'll trade much lower leverage. But I don't think that thinking of trades that you won earlier is like house money or something that's risk, because it makes you do that riskier behavior, right? Like you should pay yourself. I would recommend, like if you're up, you should just pay yourself, like keep your account flat instead of doing it's like at the end of the week, it's like anything, every dollar, or even on a daily, well, like with props you can't necessarily do it every day, but if you're in like a live account or something, just take that money out every day, or consider anything that you gained as locked in, because it's not house money, right? That's the result of work, right? That's your money.
Yeah, and your edge. I think that's such a great point. Like if you're trading a process, a system, then if you the risk of ruin becomes very high if you try and leverage too quickly. Or if you do what I did this morning, like, okay, like I'm already up $1,000 in this funded account and it's only 5:30 in the morning. Let me like risk some of this money. Yeah, I agree. I probably shouldn't do that. So many things to work on.
I know you know, so it's like I'm just saying it so that you can hear it from someone else.
No, you guys, it's a good reminder. I just want to tell everyone who's listening, wherever you are in your journey, it's like there's always room for improvement, right? Like always. And we're always trying to get better. And I think there is no shame at all in embracing where you're at in your journey, right? Like, I am so far from being a perfect trader. Do I want to be a perfect trader one day? Yes, but there is no such thing as a perfect trader. Do I want to drive and keep working towards that? Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, okay. The first 5 minutes, candle is formed. So it is a nice green candle here. This makes me so nervous taking the opening range 5-minute trade when we're already down so much, but I'm going to put this trade on. I'm going to do it with 2 micros. Yeah, we'll just see what happens.
Order filled. Order.
Yesterday, it did not work.
Order filled. I heard that.
Yeah,
order
we're going.
filled
Let's
come
go.
You're going. So yesterday,
What are you looking for? Are you trying to get a bigger retrace, or are you looking at VWAP?
So I'm just doing a systematic system with the 5-minute orb. And yesterday we lost. So I put on 2 contracts today. So we'll see. The day before yesterday and the day before that, both were winning days. It can just be very random. I get nervous when we're down so much and then the orb breaks on the upside. Or if I'm just thinking like, okay, I have to get into this long. Like yesterday we were talking, but first I was like, you'd be so proud of me. I went long. I went long on like a red day, a reversal trade, right? And it was basically like the volume profile from edge to edge. And I went short and then I went long, and I feel the most proud about that because I felt nervous and I still took on the trade.
Yeah. I think
I don't know if
I think most.
do we have? I was gonna say, do we have the expectation to not be nervous ever when we're in a trade? I don't know.
That's such a good question.
I mean, that's especially when you're trying new ideas and like leveraging up. Even if I leverage up, like I'm gonna feel like it doesn't matter if you have $5,000, if you have $1 million. Like there's a number that's gonna make you, feel a little squirmy. It's different for every person too. That's the benefit of props, by the way, is that you can essentially buy leverage, right? You can buy leverage at a massive discount. Even the expert account, it's at list is $400 and you get access to 15 minis. I think you shouldn't use all that, but that's insane, guys. Like in a real account, you need 18K per 1 NQ, so you need a six-figure account to trade that leverage for real, versus what you can do in a prop. So even with all that leverage though, you still got to remember don't gamble it. And that's the other thing too, I think, especially for prop traders is where that house money idea kind of will get them. Because you do want to get that payout, right? Even if it's like $500, I'm gonna keep that.
I was thinking this too, because Terry's talking about how she's a more aggressive trader. She's definitely more aggressive than I am, but she's come from her journey has kind of come from a different place. So she started out more with the prop firms, and I was starting out with this money that I really, really, really didn't want to go down, like at all. And so, because it was my own live funds. And so it's a little bit of a different mindset. And that's something that I've been adjusting to trading with props, is like, no, I can let go of this a little bit.
So Barbie, your journey, it sounds like you're at a place where it's like, okay, more risk on a little bit, pushing yourself.
That was kind of my goal for this year, is to increase my leverage. And it was a really hard time to do that with all the Trump tariffs, because we went from where 3 minis was kind of my typical position to now I'm having to take like 8 or 10 micros to kind of get that same risk. And so it's kind of a weird year to do that. So instead of trying to do that by increasing my contracts, I'm trying to do it by increasing my leverage, and I can increase my leverage for cheap with the prop firms. So that's kind of my personal, where I am in my personal journey right now, is trying to feel safe using more leverage, not just my own little account that I've been trading this whole time.
Yeah, it's awesome. You're doing both. It's not like we have to do one or the other. You can do both. So speaking of awesome things, Barbie, do you want to share the chart of the day with us?
Yeah, let's go for it. So I picked this one. This is why I didn't dwell on why we had dumped this morning is because I wanted to come to this. So let's talk about Apple. This is kind of the main, this isn't the only catalyst, but this is the punching bag of the tariff news that came overnight. So the news was, the first, before the news that came out last night, the drama is Trump wants us to be dealing, any U.S. companies to not be relying so heavily or at all on producing things overseas. So, of course, we all know China is like enemy number one, but Apple's like, okay, well, then we'll go produce this stuff in India. And he's like, no, India's not good either. We want USA. So that wasn't going anywhere. So he had he's been meeting with Tim Cook, and they've been trying to get to the bottom of this. It hasn't happened. So yesterday, typical Trump fashion, he says, fine, then we're just going to do 25% tariff for Apple, special for Apple. So there's that news right here. He's singling Apple out because he's had all of these different negotiations that were supposed to be, it's like, well, if you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back kind of thing. I mean, that's really literally what politics is. People get upset about that, but that is how politics work. And that hasn't happened. Trump obviously gets really irritated when things don't happen on his timeline too. It's not just Apple, but Apple's kind of taking the brunt of this. There's a lot of news coming out about the EU tariffs. It's not just Apple, but if you compound Apple being the target and the tariffs coming out, phew. So as far as levels go, I was kind of looking at some levels. Where are we? I didn't put them on here yet, but some of the levels are below us because we were down here before. So we have a level down here around 190. We aren't quite there yet. I mean, these are like really old levels, but I was kind of more looking for a retracement. So a lot of these whole numbers work kind of well on Apple. You can see we're consolidating right underneath the 195, and that's what we're breaking out of here at open. So the 200 is going to be kind of that main target. And if you look, we have like a little wick just below 200. This is why when I'm always saying I don't want to be a dick for a tick, there's always like some little reason that someone would have something lower. So just under 200, we've got that little wick over there. So it's potentially a gap play because I have it on extended hours right now. But if I put it just on the regular, this is the Apple gap. So there is a potential gap fill up here to just over the 200, around 201.35. So that's kind of the trade that I look for when things are really down off of news like that. Is there a reason that I could argue that this was an overreaction? But that is what's going on Apple. Chart of the day.
Thank you. I think Apple is so heavily weighted in the NASDAQ.
It's the number one most heavily weighted stock in NASDAQ. So
thank you for sharing that with us. I feel like maybe quite a few people watching, listening, don't understand maybe the weights and everything. Can you briefly talk about that, Barbie?
I'm sorry, the what? Someone was like trying to say that my trade has failed and I haven't traded. So.
Oh, maybe they're talking about mine. Okay, I have it shared. We can go share. It looks okay.
Anyway,
it's only down like $60. Yeah, and it's just like the system, right? So we'll just see if it works or it doesn't. If it doesn't,
You're going for a
work,
1-for-1 on that, right?
Pardon?
What's the risk on that?
This is the guy that's mad
1-for-1?
because I wouldn't give him stuff yesterday.
Pretty much 1-to-1 of the scandal.
Okay, well, don't insult people when like you're not even talking facts. Like, come on, we're working up here. Doing stuff for y'all.
It's not nice. Yes, let's stay positive, you guys. Trading is very difficult. Let's support each other on this journey and be each other's like biggest cheerleaders. I like that.
The chat is a little testy this morning, and I don't know why. So if you guys want trades,
breakdown.
If you guys want trades,
let's bring Luke on. Luke, come on down.
I'm back.
Hey.
On this Freaky Friday. or whatever it is that we are in, I've been throwing out bounties for some giveaways. I got the next batch of winners. The rule was whoever purchased with code YouTube and got 50% off as a new customer or a free reset as an existing customer was entered to win a free 50K starter plus account. I see all you out there. I see them coming in. I am going to read off the names. This has been the biggest day of MyFundedFutures account usage, code YouTube. So are you ready, Terry?
I'm ready.
How many should we do?
How many giveaways?
Yes.
Let's start with 5.
5? All right. I've got an advanced AI system that is selecting these at random. Our first winner is Ashley J. Number 2, Taewan. 3, Roberto. 4, Brian. 5, Joshua M. Are all going home with free 50K starter plus accounts. Not only do we deliver on the charts, on the levels, the interesting assets, we're going to get to gold in a second here. There might be a trade in gold, so stay tuned. But we also deliver on the giveaways.
Awesome. Congratulations, you guys. Winning. I love it.
All right. Barbie,
What is up?
do you have something in mind, or should I set the next bounty?
I'm not an expert on how these bounties work yet, and I don't want to set it up for failure. Are we looking for the next level, or what are we looking for?
Oh, we haven't done the next level in a little bit here. Should we do a next level?
I don't
Set
know.
it at 750. We get to 750 viewers. We
Yeah,
can
let's do
start giving
that.
away 5. We give away 50. Would
Is
that be
that
too
is that
crazy?
going to cheer chat up? Chat. It's a happy Friday.
Or
There's a
do
lot
they
of
not
tense-
deserve it?
There's a lot of tense folks in the chat today. So
All right.
How are we going to make you happy? How do we
All
calm you
right.
down?
I've got an idea
I saw a
to
Giot
cheer
in there.
everyone up, to have some fun.
Yeah.
All right. One, we're looking for the level of 750. 2, whoever creates the best AI image about this show and emails it to luke@myfundedfutures.com. Again, that's luke@myfundedfutures.com. Will win. We'll pick 3 winners. You have 10 minutes, and we will show the winning entries on the screen. Your shot at celebrity. So how's that sound, Mr. Forrest?
I love it, Luke.
You love
I
it?
every idea you come up with. You could literally say anything.
I think Forrest wants some free accounts. He's brown nosing just like the chat. Give me free stuff.
All right. We'll give you a couple more giveaways. I'm going to pick 4 more winners of giveaways right now while we wait for these AI images to come in. Winner number 1 at Terry Trades 100, 2 Bull Barbie, 3 VPE Forest, and last but not least, Ash Trades are going home with 4 free accounts.
See
You
what
got
happens
10
when you're
minutes.
nice to Luke.
For some AI imagery, and I will be back. Sorry.
Stop
I
beating
keep
up on Luke in the chat. You got to be nice if you want the goods.
Yes.
Somebody said
Honey
Luke was
attracts
best.
more. Honey attracts more. Thank you, Luke. Okay, so it is 9:48. Let's check on our trade here. Uh-oh. Oh, it's not looking so good. Okay. If it loses, right?
Yeah, so like if a trade loses, that doesn't mean that somebody is a bad trader. It means that the system had the
Means you're
built-in
evil.
failure that it has. So
Yes.
You're evil.
Barbie, I'm so glad you said that because it is like coming from a discretionary background, it's like something that I have to use that positive self-talk, right? Like remind yourself, okay, if it loses, it doesn't mean you're a bad trader. It just means the system didn't turn out that day. And we can't expect any system to work every single day. And that's like, I think the challenge of trading a systematic approach is, can you stick with it even when it loses? And if I were to guess, most people can't unless you really, really focus on it. Like, okay, how many days can I actually do this in a row? Can I do this for 100 trading days? You know, it's kind of like the challenge that I'm playing with, like myself, is how long can I do this for and not like just switch and let me try something different, you know, like the day or 2
Well, there's
days.
always more that you can learn too. So the more data you get, the more you can improve a system. So when I was showing y'all my notes and going through all that, I just had the very most basic rules in mind when I first started looking at the 15-minute orb and how I could create a system out of it. And I had to add some rules. I had to add a VWAP rule and some little nuances like that. And I had to change the stop rule from what I thought it was going to be, because when I actually ran the numbers, it wasn't what I expected it to be. And that can change over time too, because that was one of the problems 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I was first teaching like a 30-minute opening range breakout. The rules were a little bit that were working really, really well, or a little bit different than we're seeing right now. So you always have to, when you're building a systematic trade, you always have to keep collecting information and adapting when you need to. That's okay.
Yeah, like maybe a system with certain rules would work really well in like a bear market versus in a bull market, depending on the market conditions.
And I will say, even if 10 traders have the exact same set of rules for a system in a trade, they're not all going to have the same results, because some are better at execution and money management than others. And I happen to know that someone like Terry is very good at those things in order to be able to turn the prop accounts as aggressively as you do. There is the money management and entry management and execution. So you're obviously good at that.
Thank you, Barbie. Forrest, it reminds me of how you said it's similar to playing poker. And at one point, it dawned on me, like, oh my God, it's like managing the pot, the money pot. like how you bet, how much you bet, when do you, like, yeah.
Oh, I agree. It is. It is like poker. I love my analogies, as you guys are aware. But yeah, I think if you've ever played poker, especially with like a big pot, and like you've sat there for hours and hours and hours, you know, you're just waiting for the good hands, right? You're waiting for the good hands. Obviously, poker's a little different because you gotta, you know, read people's BS. But the market is very similar. But the difference is, I actually did a video on this. You don't have to pay blinds in the market, right? You can participate. You can sit at the table for free. You literally can sit at the table for free. And then you can just wait for the perfect hand. Most people just can't wait, right? You literally,
that is exactly it.
All the time. People can't wait. Like trading is about analysis, creating edge, and then execution is like a small part of it. But yeah, I mean, the only way you develop edge is by, you know, back testing, forward testing, trying out ideas, and things like that. That takes time. There's no shortcut to that.
So Barbie, I heard that you have like a strategy that you want to show us for the education that's related to the guest that's coming on.
Yeah, so I happen to know the guest that's coming on later. He is one of the mentors and coaches that is in the Trading Ranch. And speaking of really methodical systems, he does not like to trade on vibes and and things like Terry and I do sometimes. It takes a very, very, very systematic approach. So that was really good to have that influence on me. I kind of went through the same thing Terry did, where I was really looking at order flow, and I was watching my levels, but as far as getting in my entries, I needed somebody to hammer in a systematic approach to me. And so Rob, who's joining us in just a little bit, was one of those. And one of the trades that he taught me, and I have videos about this, but I have another video coming out. I didn't mean to have this guy on here. Let me turn this off for a second. So one of the simplest trades that he taught me, and it's so you don't have FOMO and you don't have to chase, is the FIBWIT. And so I was like, what the heck is a FIBWIT? That sounds weird, but let me show you. And right now, Rob likes to trade these a lot in the overnight session. And they actually work really well kind of in any session. But Right now, I'm just kind of looking for just a really simple trend, and it doesn't even have to be a major trend. He'll trade these minor trends like this. I like this in the morning session when we're having a breakout and I haven't joined it. Since I don't have that to show you today, I'll show you this one. But all we're looking for is some little trend to break out. And then we can feel like maybe we were watching this level here and we got the break, but we missed out on this. So then that's when we look for a fib wick. So we have a downtrend, and let's say we missed it off of this level. Well, then we have our downtrend. We're just looking for a bar to go against it. And then we have the first bar with trend. And we can put a little box around it. And I'm going to zoom way in since I zoomed out to show you. The point of zooming out was to show you the trend. But now we're zooming real in on this little guy here. So this is just a NASDAQ 1 minute because it's easier to find them that way. Like anything else, if we have a lower time frame, we're going to find more, but they're going to be less reliable. So I know Rob likes this on the higher time frames, the 5 and the 15. I will take this down to a lower time frame when we're in a trend that I'm not in and I want to hop in. So so if I'm looking at this candle, we have our downtrend that we missed off of a level. We have the first bar that goes against us, and here's the first bar with trend. And so all we do for this entry is we're going to wait for price to come back and go back through the bottom of that box right there. I give it a couple ticks because it's always like my don't be a dick for a tick rule. So that just goes right on the other side of that box. And then the stop goes right on the other side. And it's because those little wicks tend to get tested a lot. And I just want to have it just a smidge above. And then for targets, I usually have my levels, so I'll be looking left, and I just want to make sure that there's some meat on the bone. I can see there's some wicks there, so that's probably where I would target that one. And so there's a quick little trade. And if once you get that one in, there's opportunities to hop back in. There are a lot of nuances that come up, so I'm probably not going to remember all of them right now. I do have a video coming out later today that goes over this, and I have some older ones too. But one of the main rules that I think is really important to understand, if you have a fib wick and before you get the entry, you get stopped out because price goes back through the other side. So it breaks, on this case, it would break the high of that box of this candle over here. Then it's invalidated. So we're looking for a new one. Let me just hop on. I'll just hop onto another time frame. We can go trolling for another one. So here's another one. This is on the 2 minute. So here's another little trend that's broken out. So missed. Here's one that goes against us. Here's the high and the low of the first bar with trend after that. So here's a long example. We just go in right above that. TradingView never cooperates with me with these boxes. Okay, and then we put the stop just on the other side of it, and we can target a nearby higher low that we see on the left. So there's another example of a fib wick. These do fail, but the great thing about it is when we're in a really strong trend, that's my favorite time to use those. So the video that I have coming out later, I recorded on a trend day, so it was a little bit easier to show this when we're in a really strong trend. But if we've broken out in the morning, we've never come back down into the opening range, all that sort of thing, it gives me an opportunity to participate and hop in before I'm at a target, which would be a level in my system.
Thank you, Barbie. Share, tell us more about the guests and your experience with our guests, with Robert Tovell. Am I saying his last name correctly? Tovell?
I think it's Tovell. He's never corrected me.
Okay, we'll find out.
I don't want to steal all of his thunder, but let's see. Do I have this chart up here? Yes. So this is his system. I have the Mo roll on the bottom. So the Mo roll has nothing to do with it. That's just, I like it on there. So this is Rob's system here these are his fire lines. And I told you that he's a systematic trader. He doesn't even have VWAP. I added the VWAP on there. So the white line is mine. Everything else is part of Rob's system. But the way that he looks at the market is we have a range and we're going to break out of the range. This is what appealed to me about his system. Is you have every single day these lines plot. I can zoom out. Let me go to 15 minutes so you can see how it looks like. So these lines will always move every day. And his whole system is based on, we have these ranges that are formed kind of based on the previous day's price action. And if price breaks out, here are our targets. And he's not a big fan of the volatility that we have going on right now. And one of the great things about this is this works really great in the other sessions as well. So I know some of the traders in our group are trading the Asian session when we open up in the evening. And then we have some that are, we have a pretty global group in there. So we have some that are trading the London Open as well. I know they're really loving it on the London Open a lot. Not a great example today. Today it was just ranging, but
It seems
I like the way he looks at the market. It's a good systematic approach. So even if this doesn't speak to you, like learning how a system works is good.
Yeah. And I think learning how the commonalities with successful traders, even though everyone kind of does things differently. I've never met two traders that do things exactly the same, but there are so many commonalities like patience, discipline, being able to stick to whatever system it is.
That's why I like this for new traders is the rules are all there. And I watch them every day kind of go beyond the rules. And that's the lesson is like, nope, you got to get back to the rules. That's, because that way, if you have that failure, it's in the expected section or area of that.
I can share my chart so we can check on the trade that we put on this morning. We can call it our group trade. So yeah, it's just consolidating. It's not doing much. This is a good lesson for me, like as far as you just don't touch it. Because the temptation is to put the trade on, and when it doesn't work right away, for me, the temptation is to, go in there and do something about it. Either take it off or reverse it or So this is good. Just like let it go. No emotions. I love it. Okay, so we just checked on our trade. Let's bring Luke back in.
What's up, guys?
Hi.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
I got word that this is now Fun Friday rather than whatever we had called it previously. I have on this Fun Friday, we're doing some fun bounties, some fun giveaways. I owe you guys 50 resets because you got to the viewer count, the March to 750. It's holding, it's strong. So we'll get to that. But everybody was testy. You were bullying
a testy group today.
Oh, no.
That's why I liked the first word that you went with, but I guess we got our hands slapped. So
yeah. Okay, now I can see chat. I couldn't see it earlier.
So what we did is we said whoever comes up with the best AI images about our show is going to win a free 50K Starter Plus account. I said that I would do 3, but there are so many lovely entries that I'm going to double down. We're going to do even more. How's that? Are you ready to see them?
As long as chat's got their behavior under control.
And I'm not going to share any of the R-rated images that came in. Only the fun and appropriate ones. But let's take a look at these winners here. Screen. All right. Screen is up. What do you think of this one?
Wow.
What am I looking at?
I like it.
What am I looking at?
I have to make it bigger at the screen share. So I think we're going into some sort of game battle.
It looks sick.
Yes, it looks serious. It looks serious.
We're very serious.
That's crazy.
All right, there are more. All right. Mustaches. This is a winner number 2.
I need that. Yo. That's actually pretty good.
Did not do me any favors there.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I need that. Yo, send me that, Luke.
How many entries we got? If you guys can see my screen.
Send that to me.
I will send it to you. All right, next winner. How about that? Oh.
What is that?
This is us in like Jumanji.
That's cute. I like that. It reminds me of a show on
You zoomed in
Netflix
on the horns.
with the
That's what I
horns.
was trying to think of. Like, it does look like a Lost or something like that.
I change ethnicities. I keep changing ethnicities and all of this. It's crazy.
AI
You
does
were
that. It
one
just
of
does
them.
not know what to do.
I like this. This is my favorite.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Friends forever.
I like that one too.
Yeah, Horse and I all cuddled up.
That's
Yeah,
that one on
I
a
bet you
shirt.
like that one too. Oh man,
All right,
yeah.
we got one. I picked too many winners. 2 more, and then I'll let you get back to trading.
With the Bulls and the
I like
Bears.
that. Yeah.
There it is.
It's even your shirt. It's our outfit. Same. I like that one.
That's crazy.
Oh, I thought this was cute. Like we're like in a Western.
Nice.
They even put the coupon code in there.
Yeah.
Of course.
This
You gotta
one.
have coupon code.
Oh,
All right, I think I got one more. Yeah, we've got one more, and then I'll let you all. I'll stop interrupting.
I think these are more fun than everyone racing to the coupon code, personally.
That's cute.
wow, we're getting beat up by Barbie. What the heck is going on?
Yeah, we're getting beat up by Barbie.
Full Barbie. I love it.
Terry must be announcing.
All right. So if you created these images, you are the winner. Please tag Magnus in the chat to fulfill your prize of a free 50K Starter Plus account. And we're going to keep rocking and rolling. Did y'all talk gold yet?
Not yet.
No.
No.
Can we talk gold, Foresty? Oh,
Foresty.
We can't.
All right, let's
Got
look
the
at
pet names
gold real quick.
going.
And let's bring Rob on, a very special guest, joining us for the very first time on MyFunded TV. And I'm going to disappear into
So
the
we
background.
are cool. I'll wait for my chart to come up. There it is. So I do want to mention that we are pushing higher. We closed higher volume green doji on the 2-hour on both ES and NQ. We'll see if we take out this 953 level, and then my target higher would be 21,183, right? If we move higher, it's gonna be 21,183, 181, whatever that price is. But let's take a look at gold. Gold it up. So we could see that gold already hit the higher price target. I can't remember when I marked this. Sorry, guys, a few days ago. But because we're there, really this high volume red candle, doji on the 2-hour, I should take a short here. I'm contemplating it. Actually, taking a short all the way down to 32.77. We'll see. Let's zoom out and get some more context, though. Let's get off of the session volume profile and let's look at the visible range. I don't really trade gold, right? I literally took a few trades on gold just because someone mentioned it. So I had that nice long the other day, which was very profitable. I don't really want to get chopped up on this over trading it without certainty. We are in an obvious uptrend on gold, I will say. So I'm a little more hesitant to take a short. I will say, though, shorting up here just makes a lot of sense versus shorting anywhere else. We're literally at an edge, right? So my risk, for example, if I did short right now, I could just put my stop at 33.65, and then my potential reward is all of this range, depending on what gold does, right? This could be the high of whatever if we do a trend line up here, right? This could literally be gold high. I can just hold this short. So I'm contemplating it. I'm probably going to wait a little bit longer, see what happens today. But if I do take a short on gold, I'm going to look for at least 32.54. That'll be like a little bit of a swing trade, and maybe even lower. We'll see. Now, while there's uncertainty in the market, though, gold is a little different. Trump is being Trump, just kind of shooting from the hip. Until we have more certainty in the markets, gold is probably going to continue in an uptrend type of behavior. So we'll see if it holds or cracks this trend line here. But that's what I'm thinking for gold. I'll remove these prior targets. Well, this one kind of is still important. It's this edge of this shelf. There's this other edge down here as well, right? The volume profile. And profile shows us how many people are participating at each price, which matters, right? Where there's participation, there's going to be interaction, right? So we chop through this and then we rip through low value. So at a minimum, if I did short here, I would expect it to traverse this auction down to 32.79. But for now, again, I'm going to wait and see what happens on this higher time frame. So the 2-hour close with the red, 4 hour still has there's a top whip, but it is a green candle. So I would like something on a little bit higher of a time frame before I take a short here. But it's not just in terms of like where I would take a short. This is one of the best prices versus, you know, shorting down here or chasing later, right? So that's what I got.
Thank you,
Same with
Forrest.
platinum. Wait, hold on. There's more. Oh, wait, there's more. Platinum. Platinum, I'm waiting for the daily close. So anybody looking for a trade idea, I'll be very, very explicit because people always are like, Forrest. It's like, guys, look at all the streams. Okay, they're out there. If this closes as a high volume down candle today, I will short platinum to the other side of this range. It'll be another swing trade, 921. But same thing here. I'm gonna wait and be patient, not necessarily front run this, but in terms of prices, we just box out this range. This is one of the best prices to short, right? If I wanted to short, taking a long here, technically, even if you win, and this is why trading is poker, you have to think in terms of odds and not just individual outcomes. Because what happens, whatever, I won't go down that rabbit hole. You need to think in odds. Even if I long here and I'm right, you should have figured out how to long down here. Like your brain, you need to be asking yourself, why didn't I see the long here? Why didn't I see the shorts here? Okay, if you take a long here, even if you're right, like over time, those trades are going to fail more often than not because your risk is backwards. But I digress. That's all I got.
Thank you. When you said, why didn't I take the long down here? In my mind, my answer was because it's scary. It's scary when price is way down, right? It's like, is it going to go farther down?
Even lower? What if it just keeps going in one direction and never reverses? Something that never happens. I don't know.
Yeah. Best risk reward though. Thank you for sharing that with us. So should we bring on our special guest?
Let's do it.
Get him in here.
Hi, Rob.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing? Can you hear
Good.
me
How are
okay?
you?
Oh, I'm doing
got
very
you.
well. You'll have to excuse me. For some reason, I couldn't get the camera going. I tried everything for the last 20 minutes, but it couldn't get it going.
That's
Just
okay.
imagine a beautiful man in your mind, and that's Rob.
Yes.
Wow.
We just have to roll with it, just like days
I'm
in the
Rob.
market. We
That's
roll with
it.
it.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so Barbie was sharing a little bit about your strategy with us earlier. It sounds like it's simple, it's systematic, an easy way to kind of view the markets and with trades.
It is ridiculously easy. I mean, I can literally teach a 10-year-old how to do it, and did, my nephew. And
Wow,
yes,
crazy.
anybody can do it. Anybody can do it.
Yeah, so share with us a little bit about your story. Like, how did you get into trading, and how did you come up with your system?
How this came about? Well, I've been trading now for over 40 years. And when I started to trade, it was all in the pits. It was still all open outcry. You would literally phone your orders into the broker and say, buy corn, buy an S&P, whatever. You would actually phone it in. And as far as getting the data, well, we didn't have computers. It just didn't happen. We didn't have it. So, but we did have a ticker. We had ticker tapes. So I would watch the ticker, and let's say it was corn, just throwing that out there. I'd watch the price of corn, say, going up and up and up. And then all of a sudden it would stop, and it wouldn't go any higher for a few minutes. And then it would start to come down. And that's when I would short. And when computers came along, I tried to figure out, well, how can I take that, what I was doing with pit trading, how can I put that on a screen? And that's where the FIBWIT came about, which is kind of like an acronym for first bar with trend. So I'd be waiting, kind of actually what Forrest just said a few minutes ago when he was in that channel showing, you know, why didn't you buy here or sell here? That's what that FIBWIT did for me. So I'd be watching prices get up to the top of a range, and then it would stop, and then prices would start to fall. Then I'd wait, and then when it continued, that's when I would go short. So yeah.
That's so interesting. So this is before we had charts. Like you would basically just read. Was it a printout on like tape? Like,
well, I'm not that old, but it was
before charts.
It wasn't before charts, it was before internet.
Yeah,
before we were trading on the internet.
Before internet. Yes, we didn't have the internet. So there was a channel on the TV, and it would have all the trades of stocks going through, and then it would have a little scroller at the bottom with the commodities, and then another scroller at the top, and with the last trades of all the stocks. It's hard to imagine, like how you guys trade today. I mean, it's like, oh my God, like I was just watching what Forrest did. I'm lost in the forest. I'm sitting there going, oh my God, too many colors. And I look at Barbie's charts and I go, how do you even make sense of what's going on there? For me, if prices are going up, I wait for them to top out, then I short. If prices are going down, I wait for them to bottom out and then go long, using that kind of FIBWIT idea.
And do you only intraday trade then?
No, I do swing trade and position trade as well, but I use exactly the same methodology. So if you looked at a daily chart, say I look for, say the prices are trending higher, up, then they'll start to drop. Then I wait for that buying to return and create that bullish candle, that bullish bar. That's my FIBWIT. Then I go in a couple of ticks above it. So I'm always buying dips, I guess, is the modern day, way to say it.
But when you were developing a really simple system for, new traders, what kind of, how do you simplify the market? What kind of things were you looking at to get all the noise out? So if my chart's wild and Forrest chart's wild, how do you turn off all the noise and simplify
it's going to sound really prehistoric, but I just kind of turn it off. I don't use it. I mean, it sounds so, but imagine, look at the guys and girls that were in the pits. They didn't have charts. They had nothing. They had levels. That's it. And then they had the feel of the market, the vibe of the market. They could see the other orders coming in through the hand signals. You could see orders coming in. Oh, here comes the Cargill guy. Here comes the Refco guy. Here comes this. What are they doing? And they'd watch the floor traders. So they would see, they'd get a sense of the market that way. We didn't have screens. They didn't exist. Mm-hmm. So that's how we had to do it. And since I wasn't physically on the floor, I had the ticker, but I did have guys on the phone that were on the floor, and they're saying, oh, Cargill's coming in with a big order, or Lyle Tate is coming in or whatever. So it was very, very, very different. Now it's just, yeah.
I heard that was an edge in of itself, like with the floor trading, because you knew who represented like the big banks and the big traders. So when someone started to buy rapidly, everyone knew, like, okay, jump in.
100%, 100%. That was the edge they had. They, as I said, nobody knows what the future is going to be. So but that's how you did it. You'd be watching the other clerks, and you'd be watching the other guys taking phone orders, and then watching their hand signals going into the pit. And they're going, oh, so-and-so, he's buying a 50 lot, or so-and-so is buying 300 or whatever it was. And then they'd try to piggyback on that stuff. It's pretty wild. It was a very, very different way.
Yeah. Barbie, have you ever pictured yourself trading on the floor?
Not really. Like, one of the things that I like about this, because I came from a very people-y industry, is that I get to choose how much interaction I have with people doing this. That would be
Yeah.
so different. So
It would
different.
be. People would get their stories of people's arms getting broken, fist fights, like,
Oh yeah.
and
Extreme.
I would not have been able to be a trader like on the floor. I'm only 5'2". No one would see my hand signals.
Well,
We have
Linda
to get you a
Raschke,
stick.
she was on the floor for a while.
Yeah.
She's not very big.
She is one of my trading.
I was about to say
idols.
Terry talks about her all the time, so I know that's
Yeah.
Nobody's
Yeah,
a
I
fan
absolutely.
here.
but she started down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
When I
did
lived
you?
when I lived in New York, I wanted to trade in the pit, but I think I'm much more of a sit at my desk, in a dark, quiet room kind of guy.
I'm with you now. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's much more comfortable to not have people spit flying across.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, way better. I did hear that a lot of floor traders weren't able to make that transition over to trading on the charts.
No, because it's just what we were saying earlier. That edge that they had was the ability to see the incoming orders and get the feel like, oh, something's exciting is happening over here. These guys are screaming and making big trades, so that they could piggyback it. But once you go to the screen, bingo, that's gone. So, and that is how I came up with this whole Fibwit idea and this Fireline idea. Was how do I make that transition from phoning a broker and seeing the vibe through the ticker? How can I make that transition? And it took me a while, but I went, that's it. There it is. And that's how I did it. Yeah.
So if I take it you have a lot of experience with beginning traders and also like developing traders. Is there words of wisdom, encouragement that you would share with a new trader or like an intermediate trader?
Start a small size, trade small, but then also find something that speaks to you. Like obviously in Forrest's case, it's market profile. He's sticking with that. I'm speaking for you a little bit, Forrest, but I'm just trying
No,
to.
you're exactly right. I don't look at anything else. The
Yeah.
same thing every day.
Find something that speaks to you. Trade as small as you can while you're finding that, and then you'll have an aha moment. Then stick with it. And don't be sidetracked by anything else. It is so hard, especially when you're learning and you're trying to find your way. It's like a toddler, right? You have to chase the toddler around, make sure they don't put their fingers in a light socket and, playing with sharp things. It's really, really hard. But that's my biggest advice. Find something that really that speaks to you, and then go. And then just build it from there.
I really like what you said about trading small, because then that makes it easier to stick with it.
Yes. And the other thing too is you'll know you're trading too big is as soon as you put that trade on, your palms go sweaty, you start to shake, you can't click the mouse, your heart's pounding, you're too big. So back off until you trade a size that I don't care. Because what happens then is now you're trading the trade, you're not trading your P&L. And that makes a huge difference. At some point, it just happens that way. So focus on find what really sings to you, and then just focus on doing it well. And once you can do it well, the money will just come. It just happens. But you don't get there until you focus on that one thing.
That's a good point. Everyone, when you first come in, you're focused on the money. I just want the money. And we're not thinking about the big picture of creating systems and learning discipline and all of that. And that's where the money actually comes from.
That's it. And Sorry, Forrest, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I was just gonna plus one that I agree. I think it's the same. You know, I had an interesting start, right? I worked at a retail brokerage. I've said that many times, like right out of college. It's from an investing standpoint. So I was started on the very slow side and slowly went to the other side to speculating.
Right.
But even then, it's like when you're making an investment, it's all about research. And like I was saying earlier, like I'm much more interested in testing my ideas. So I'm thinking about Forrest tomorrow. It's like, what can I do today to equip Forrest tomorrow? And then Forrest tomorrow's job is to equip Forrest for the next day. And eventually, Forrest in a year should have so much useful data that this guy should be, you know, ideally much more levered up than I am, right? And now all of that will result in making money.
Right.
But like
Yeah.
any idiot can flip a coin and make 30K today, but that idiot's gonna
Sure.
lose 45 tomorrow, you know? So
Mhm.
That's how I learned how to trade.
Yeah.
But and I say this to other people, it's not just in trading, it's with all kinds of facets. Suppose you're a golfer, right? You're going to spend a whole lot of time on the range whacking balls, right? But then you're going to go out and play a really good round. But you've got all that practice in hitting the ball. And if it doesn't matter if you're a musician, you're going to sit there, you're going to do that C major scale until you just want to vomit. But then you're going to go up on stage and go shredding, you know. It's all about just getting the basics, practice, and in other words, you know, focus on the trade, not the money. The money will flow as a result of all that practice.
That reminds me of, I think it was Bruce Lee who said, I fear something about like, the fear is of a man that knows that's done one kick like a million times.
10,000 times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. It's the same thing. It's exactly the same. When you can do it in your sleep, and like now, because I've focused my whole basically career on this idea of a fibwit, I can just sit down to a chart and go, oh, there's my trade. You know,
Yeah.
most of the time it works. Of course, I get stopped out. I have losing trades, but a losing day is very rare. Because
there are other setups in your system. I was just trying to bring one
true.
that is really simple for everyone. But yeah, so Rob's system, he has a lot of entry triggers at the levels, and that's what makes it really, really simple. Is you just wait for the level, and then you wait and see if there's a trigger, and it's yes or no.
Yeah.
So.
And it's very similar because what little I watched of Forrest when he was showing that volume profile, it's very similar, right? It gets to that level, and then what's it going to do? You know, and then if it does this, I do that. If it does that, I do this.
Mm-hmm.
So
simplify.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Simple is better, slow is fast.
Yep.
Rob, how do people stay in touch with you?
Smoke signals, they work from where I live.
A campfire?
Yeah, that's right. They can email me. I can, and of course, Bull Barbie. She runs.
Well, I'll post the Discord. Yeah, I help Rob out because he's real focused on actually talking to traders. So I've invited him to the Discord. If you want to find him there, that's a good reason. He's also got a website. I actually forgot your link right now. I have it at bullbarbie.link/firelines.
It's really
Firelines?
simple.
Is it
firelines.ca?
There we go. Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, all one word. So that's that.
But yeah, and then if you want to connect, like I know he connects a lot with people through the Discord, and then they end up in private mentoring. So
yeah, I just, it's funny. You get to a certain age and you go, maybe it's just time. I got to pass this info on, and that, my day. I don't need the edge anymore. I'm not building capital. I'm not building well. I'm not. It's like, what I've used this and it's worked for me, and if I can pass it on to the next generation, I think that's what I'm doing. And so people they come in and say, oh, I'm having problems here. We sit them down for half an hour, and help them out. So
Thank you, Rob. Thanks so much
Oh,
for
you're-
coming. Do you want to see the trade that I put on this morning?
Yes, I do. And thank
Okay,
you so
awesome.
much for
Let's-
having me, putting up with me. Yeah.
Oh my God, thank you for coming.
Thanks for
And
joining us.
I definitely want to hear more stories too. I'm guessing you have a lot of really good stories.
I've got war stories. Absolutely.
Can we share my chart? So this is just an update of the trade that we put on. Is it showing?
We just need to use our magic over here.
Sharing? Is
No,
it
I didn't want
sharing?
it. Let me
It
try it
says
again.
sharing. Okay. So the trade, the trade is still on. It hasn't hit TP yet. It's basically just bouncing off the VWAP. 4 candles now. 4 or 5 minute Oh, here we go. I did a good job describing it, right?
Yeah.
So here is the VWAP. The trade is still on. I didn't take profit because I just set the trade and let it run. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I will put a comment on the YouTube stream if it worked or not. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, where's Rob? Did Rob disappear?
We lost him.
Oh.
He's out of here.
We lost Rob. That wasn't. Hey, Rob, did you see the screen?
I did. I saw your trade bouncing off the VWAP there.
Yeah. So what do you think about how I said I put it on and I didn't do anything, just like let it run?
For me personally, I'd have taken profit at the VWAP.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
I'm a big chicken. But, because I'm just a big chicken. Now, if I think it's going to keep going, I'd let it break the VWAP,
Mm-hmm.
come back down to the VWAP, and wait for my fib wit.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
how
that's
I
actually just what it did. And this would be the fibwit candle now on the 5 minute.
Yeah.
Just pushing.
So this might be something that I will pay attention to as far as like
It's so
a
easy.
system.
It's so easy. It's laughable. It's
I
laughable.
like it because it's like when I miss something, I have another backup plan to look at. That's one of my favorite things about that little setup.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So easy. Well, thank you guys again for having me.
Thanks, Rob. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay. You guys, you're going into a long weekend. We'll enjoy it.
We
Thank
will.
you.
Yeah.
You too.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's invite Luke back in.
I'm
Hey,
back.
Luke.
I'm here. How's the day?
Good.
I need
the
an
trade is
LOL.
still working. It's up about $100. It just keeps kind of fluctuating.
Woo! We're hot.
We're hot.
On this fabulous Friday, as we renamed it.
Fabulous Friday now. We'll just go with all of the F's until we land somewhere appropriate.
What's your TP set to, Terry? Are you going for
it's
21, 182?
24.75.
Wait, what? One more time.
21,024 and 75 cents. I said 0.75. Luke, do you have some news for us?
Yeah. Should we do something fun?
Is it fun
What's
Friday now?
fun?
It's a fun
Friday.
Friday now. Should we pick a couple winners out of the chat?
Absolutely.
Yes, let's do it.
All right.
Yes.
I would like to recognize one winner in particular. This is Mr. Trades by AZ. He's a user who has been with us early every day, commenting productively, not spamming the chat, showing up.
Not complaining
MyFundedFutures.
too, by the way.
He's going to go home with the free 50K Starter Plus account. Should we do a couple more?
Yes.
All right, Terry, who's your favorite user in chat?
Oh my gosh, they're going so
Ooh.
fast now.
My favorite user in chat,
Be ready, Barbie and Forrest.
MyFundedFutures is my favorite user in chat.
Do you guys know I'm MyFundedFutures in chat?
No.
I'm MyFundedFutures in chat. I'm
Who's
not.
still here?
All right, Barbie, who's your
Put a
favorite
W
user?
put a W if you're still here. I want to make sure we get somebody who's still here. Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Let me
if
know
you're
if
not
you're still
subscribed to
here.
the channel, subscribe now and put a W so that way you've got the shot at winning. Again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe now, put a W so you have a shot at winning.
You know who I keep saying that I just saw post a W is Rusty.
Rusty, free 50K starter plus account.
Let's do it.
All right, Forrest.
What's the question?
Your favorite
Favorite
person
Am I
in the
picking
chat.
somebody?
Yep.
My favorite what in chat?
Pick a winner of a free 50K starter plus account.
Who do you recognize that's here all the time supporting the crowd?
What's a winner? I'm kidding, guys. All right. Who who do I want to pick? Let's go with, I'm going to type it out. This person, Andre Banu. I tagged him.
Nice.
You're welcome.
So there you have it, folks. 3 more winners of 50K starter plus accounts. I said that if we got to 750 live concurrent viewers on the stream, we'd be giving away resets. 50 resets going out to y'all. At least march me to 700. And then Ash Trades, Ash Ketchum, the Ash Man, has a code ready. So he's going to be watching for that 700 count. How's that? Big giveaway.
I love it. I love free accounts.
Pushing 100 points.
Free resets. Yes.
Free account Friday. Alrighty, folks. So I'm going to say goodbye to our friends Terry, Barbie, and Forrest and say hello to the Ash Man. He's got another hour for us. He's going to dig deep. He takes his trades live when he has them. He breaks us through everything. What's going on, man?
Hey, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you feeling on this fabulous Friday?
I am happy that it is Friday, to say the least. How's your day going so far?
Feeling energized?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
You ready to force some trades?
Absolutely not.
Dang it. You're never ready to force trades.
That's not coming from me.
Did you see the AI images of yourself floating around the internet?
I have 3 of them loaded and ready to show people. I'm just waiting for the right moment.
You're ready. All right. We won't do it yet. Yesterday, we said whoever creates the best AI images of the Ash Man and shares them on their socials, sends receipts, will win a free 50K starter plus account. That's how we're doing it.
I have 3 of them locked and loaded already. There were some really good ones from yesterday.
And Ash, tell me, have you taken any trades yet today?
No trades on my end.
Okay.
I only take 1 to 2 trades a week. I had a trade on Wednesday and on Thursday, so my weekend's already started. In my opinion.
All right, Ash, can I show you something? You know, like on our march to success, financial freedom. That gets
what do
us
you got?
going? Hold on. I hope Barbie's still here.
Wow.
Look at this pile of cash.
What are you doing with that?
Starting a new business, cash only business. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Yeah. No, on a serious note, I'm paying my lending vendors, and they all cut me mega deals if I pay in cash. So I just got a lot of money out of the bank, but it makes me feel rich. Okay.
Hopefully, all the wedding planning's done by now. I know I just got married about a year ago now, and it was quite the task.
Oh, the wedding planning is far from done. I am building a carnival. I'm working on fireworks right now. I'm welding on chalk arts. I'm trying to hire a couple face painters, get the Dippin' Dots guy there. I mean, we're cooking, baby.
Very nice.
If anybody in the chat wants to come to the wedding, send an email to luke@myfundedfutures.com.
All right, I'll be there.
All right. Ash will be there. Barbie will be there. Yeah, send her over. But all right, we're going to look at ES. What else are we going to look at, Ashman?
NQ and ES for me. I might take a look at gold. There was something on gold I was looking at earlier, so I might take a peek at gold as well.
All righty, sir. So why don't you get us rolling? Over to you, my friend. And again, Ash has those resets loaded on the March to 700 viewers.
Awesome. Let's do it. Good morning or good day, depending on where you're from. Hope everybody's week is going well. Hope everybody's day is going well. Happy Friday. The first question I have for everybody here is, are we green on the week? Throw a 1 in the chat if you're green on the week. Throw a 2 in the chat if you're red on the week. And throw a 3 in the chat if you did not trade this week. Okay, bunch of 1s, bunch of 2s, some 3s as well. Looks like a pretty mixed bag so far. Okay. So for all the individuals that are green, I only have one question for you. I only have one question for you if you're green on the week. Are you going to ruin all of your hard work this week by forcing some more trades today? Or would you rather just start the weekend? Would you rather go into the weekend happy, ready to go, green? Would you rather stay green, or are you going to continue to keep forcing yourself upon the market? In my opinion, we got to be risk managers first. Get rid of any kind of euphoria, right? If you have the mindset of, I need X dollar amount, or I want X dollar amount, that'll be the reason why you hand back all of your hard work from this week. Okay, so second thing I want to bring up is the long weekend. Everybody should be aware of the holiday that's coming up on Monday. You probably got the email from MyFundedFutures showing the schedule for Monday. Okay, so that would be the reason why I wouldn't be expecting anything major here. Okay, we're going into a long weekend. It's a Friday, and we already had a large decisive move lower. Okay, so I really wouldn't expect a lot from today. If you've already gotten green on the week, remain green. Okay. In my opinion, I'd much rather go into the weekend green, happy to go see some friends and family, than ruin all your hard work, get all tilted and be all annoyed and not have fun with my friends. The first one sounds way better. Okay, so let's think logically. Let's think in terms of risk. Stay away from the euphoria. Don't force yourself upon the market. Okay. We did ask yesterday, we did ask all the viewers to create some of the best AI images of myself. So I'll give you guys a couple more minutes, but I am going to be picking some of the best AI photos of myself. It's just supposed to be, something comical, nothing toxic, nothing inappropriate, just something funny that relates to the stream, that relates to me, whatever you want it to be. I'm going to give you guys a couple more minutes. We'll give you like another 10 minutes. That way you can go and make the image real quick. At me on social media so I can see it. But we do already have a couple winners. Some people from yesterday did participate. So there are some pretty funny AI images that we're going to pick. Those winners are going to win a free giveaway. So just a little bit of fun. We do have a couple submissions already that have been picked out. So I'll give you guys a couple more minutes and then we'll do that. While we do that, I do want to take a look at a couple of our assets. Okay. Let me hop over here on gold. This is one that I don't normally talk about. I don't normally talk about gold, but this is something that I'll be watching. For the people that are asking where to send it, just at me on Twitter. Right, just place the photo on Twitter and at me. I'm going to pick a couple of the winners, some of the best photos AI generated. Again, just funny little memes, nothing toxic, nothing inappropriate, just something funny to have some fun on a Friday. Something I'm watching on gold is this right here. So my process remains the same. Okay. I get a bias from the daily chart. The daily chart, we're currently inside of a daily bearish imbalance. Okay. And on top of being inside of a daily bearish imbalance, we also have the model that I trade. So take a look at this right here. All right, so being inside of a daily bearish imbalance, I would want to be looking for shorts. And this is the model that I trade. Unicorn model is a swing high, a swing low, a new swing high, then a new low. This is what a short looks like. So you can see it here, swing high, swing low, new high, new low. And then I also need an FEG to be aligned with the breaker. All right, so you have multiple FEGs here. I'm pointing out one right now. So here's one of the FEGs. Here's another FEG. So here's the first one. Here's the second one. Okay, so hear me clearly. I've taken 2 trades on this week. I had a winner on Wednesday. I had a winner on Thursday. For that reason, I will not be trading this. Okay? I'm not taking any risk today. Risk management is the #1 priority at all times. So it doesn't matter what's shown on the screen. Right? We can sit here and watch it to see if the entry function works properly. But you have to understand this is not something that I would execute because of risk management. So it's a very easy decision for me. We will leave this here and we'll come back to it after we get our analysis done on the other assets. Looking for this to be a short. It's already provided multiple entries, and then validation would go at the high and we would aim lower. So we'll leave this here and we'll come back to this. Again, I am not trading this. I'm just watching because it doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter what type of day it is. Every single day is a learning opportunity. I'm going to show up, conduct my business, gain the conviction through experience. Show up, collect the data. Once you have enough data to prove that you have a profitable model, that's when you can have some conviction. Okay, so we'll leave this here as we go over some other assets. We'll take a look at MES, which is ES. This is just the micro. Same thing with MNQ. Currently using the micros because I just got moved over to a live account. The first week in the live account went great. Just under about $500 profit for the first week. The daily loss limit is $500. So that explains why I have to get down to the micros, because some of the invalidations that I use are larger than $500 if I'm using NQ or ES. Okay, so everybody talked about it already this morning. We've continued to keep pointing this out, and I'll continue to keep saying it. We need to be aware of Trump. Plain and simple. We need to be aware of Trump. Because look at what Trump can do. This was just a tweet from all the, the trade war, the tariffs. That was not on the economic calendar. Okay, so we have to be aware of what Trump says. If he gets on Twitter and starts tweeting again, we need to be aware of it. Okay, so I'm not bullish today on NQ or ES. Looks like it's rebalancing this imbalance here. And reason being is they still have this gap below. Looks like they may need to rebalance that as well. Now, this isn't something that we've talked about much, but we're going to talk about it now because we're in this scenario. Look at this flat candle here. Notice how this candle has no wick below it. That's key for a draw on liquidity. When you see candles that have a flat candle like this, that means they did not take liquidity below that price. Okay, so be aware of when you see flat candles like this. It could be a draw on liquidity. Now, anybody that just joined the stream, once again, just so you know, we are doing a contest. If you want to make an AI-generated image of myself from any one of these MyFundedFutures streams, something that's comical, something that's funny, nothing inappropriate, nothing toxic, we're doing a giveaway for people that make the best AI-generated image of myself. Okay? And I'm currently looking at any of the people that submitted those images. You could post them on Twitter and you can tag me in it. That way I can see them. So we will be picking some winners in just another couple minutes. Give it like 10 more minutes just in case anybody else wants to do some submissions. Okay? All right, so let's get back over to the chart. So we've kind of just been going sideways here. Did get a nice retracement back into about 50% of the range. Let's take a look at, not quite yet. I just want to see this range that we sold off. When we sold off, we created this range here. All right, so we did make it back into about 50% of the range that we sold off from. So not a place that I'm looking to be too bullish. You're inside of a large imbalance, right? A bearish imbalance. You can clearly see this right here. Okay, so it's a Friday. Okay, it's a Friday. We have a long weekend ahead of us. You have the holiday there on Monday. This is the reason why I'm not interested in taking any positions. Okay, some days, you know, we need to have some patience. Patience is truly a virtue. This is one of those days. All right, so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to throw it in chat. I'm giving another, let's say, 5 minutes before we pick the giveaway winners. The giveaway winners, once again, last time I'll mention it, is from people that are submitting AI-generated photos of myself. AI-generated photos of myself. Something that's funny, something that's comical. I'm going to pick 3 giveaway winners in another 5 minutes. For anybody that doesn't know what my Twitter is, I'll put it in chat right now. Let me get over to chat. I could also put it on the screen here. So for anybody that wants to submit one of those AI generated photos, here's the Twitter handle right here. Okay. If you respect your rules and confirmations, why taking a trade today would it be a forced trade? Because risk management is the #1 priority at all times. It doesn't matter if the model is on the screen. Risk management is the #1 priority. Okay, it doesn't matter if your model is on the screen. If you're green for the week and want to stay green, don't take any trades. Doesn't matter if the model is on the screen or not. You have to realize that every single model, it doesn't matter what model you're talking about, they are capable of losing. Okay, there is no model in the world that has a 100% win rate. Okay, it's something that creates probabilities. So just because you have a model, just because it appears on the screen, that doesn't mean you have to execute it. It's just a probability. It's a way to engage with the market. It's a way to define your risk. The logic you provide to your decision making, the logic you provide to your risk management is what's going to make progress. Okay? Now, you have to understand that results are a byproduct of the process, right? So this week was green. Yeah, that's great. But what happens with the red week? What happens with the red week? This is where you have to have limits in place, a risk management, right? So for me, and if for anybody that's been watching me here, I am only taking 1 trade a day maximum and 2 trades a week maximum. So for the people that are asking, what about a red week? The results don't matter. It doesn't matter if you're red or green. The process is what matters. So putting the limits of only taking 1 trade a day maximum and 2 trades a week maximum, that's what the process is. So whether you're red, right? So let's say I had 2 losers this week. I'm still not taking another trade because 2 trades on the week is the maximum. Let's say I had 2 winners this week. Well, I'm not taking another trade because 2 trades on the week is the maximum. 1 win, 1 loss. And if you're managing risk properly, you should be plus 1R, right? Because you're aiming for plus 2R as a winner. Your losses should be minus 1R. So let's say if you have a loss and you have a win, then you should be plus 1R, which would be green on the week. Again, I would be done for the week. So once again, process over profits. Allow the results to be a byproduct of it. All right, so last couple of minutes, I'm about to pick the giveaway winners. Some amazing AI generated photos so far. It's kind of scary how they slightly look like me, so that's a little scary. So last couple of minutes, then I'm going to pick 3 giveaway winners. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to take a sip of water while we wait. All righty. Thank you for your patience. All right, so let me get over to chat. Let's see what we have so far today. Let me refresh the screen too, because I believe Luke made a deal with you guys. I think it was what was it? How many viewers was it? Remind me real quick. If I remember correctly, it might have been, it was what? 1,250 for viewers. Very good. So it does look like we hit 1,250 viewers. So we will run a code for resets. I'll give you guys a minute to get prepared. Okay. For anybody that's trying to get one of these resets, I'll give you guys a minute to prepare. We'll put the code on the screen in 1 more minute, so get ready, everyone. Congratulations for completing another deal. Thank you as well for chat reminding me about that. I did want to go through my little bit of analysis first, but here we are now. While we're at it, sub to the channel. That way you can communicate with us here on stream. Like the video. Turn the notifications on. That way you can be notified for when we go live again. We're doing this every single week. Everybody get prepared. Once again, we're doing a reset code. It will be going on the screen here in another, let's see, 15 seconds. So get prepared. You guys completed yourself another deal. So happy Friday. Congratulations. Let's see what the code is for the free resets. All right, 50 resets, code 50 ash reset. Wow, we got some quick people in here. Aeon already got it. Old Marius already got it. Wow, Emerson got it. You guys are quick. Wow. Throw a W in chat if you're able to get one of the free resets. Jeannie got it. Josh got it. W. W in chat if you got one of the free resets. Happy Friday. Congratulations. Salty got it. Renee got it. Oscar got it. Congratulations. Happy Friday. You know, the amount of value that's provided here is quite incredible. The giveaways are happening every single day. On top of the trades, on top of the experts we have coming on here talking about their psychology, their trading, their models. It is quite incredible. So happy Friday. Congratulations to anybody that got the code. And like I said, last couple minutes as well for the AI generated photos. Okay. Yesterday in chat, we told chat that we were going to do funny AI-generated photos of myself, and that I'm going to pick 3 of the funniest. All you have to do is create an AI-generated photo, then @ me on Twitter and submit it there. Here, let me go through some more now. Let me pick out the rest of the winners. Taking a look as we speak. Let's take a look. All right, so I do have some pretty good ones now. I'll share it with everyone here. Just a little bit of fun on a Friday. This makes a lot of sense, in my opinion, some of these photos. And here we go. Here's going to be the 3 winners. These are AI-generated photos of myself. Just some fun. Let's take a look. For anybody that's been here with us on stream, they know exactly what this means. This is perfect. Doge trading.fvg fearless value of God, or I should have just said @ Doge 777 trading. This is just pure gold. Look, a breaker with an FVG, as if he's saying, like, look, a unicorn. That's hilarious. And honestly, like, does this scare anybody? Because Tell me if you think this looks like me. Like, does that look like me a little bit? Throw one in chat if you think this actually looks like me. I feel like it kind of does, which is kind of scary. And this was I had a brown flannel on. I think that was last week. This is actually the brown flannel that I was wearing last week. And then this is even better too. This is what actually wraps up the deal right here. My deal is 1K like, folks. For anybody that's been spending time with me here since the beginning of MyFunded TV, I always end up saying that 1K likes is what we need to get to for the next giveaway. So saying that my deal is 1K likes makes complete sense. So huge W to Doze777 Trading. We'll contact you for the giveaway. That is just hilarious. Unicorn actually looks super real too. What is it? What is the deal with these? AI is scary. That is just hilarious. So first winner right here. And then we'll move on to the second winner. Let's take a look at the second winner. Another perfect one. At TradeWell X. I mean, everybody knows that I trade the unicorn model, so it could have been an easy one, in my opinion. And this is just perfect. It's even funnier. Somebody in the community was like, all you need to do is add a shield, and that'll be your stop loss. Sword is the take profit. That's actually hilarious. Anybody that's asking, it's supposed to be funny. I didn't mention it being trade related. I stated that it was supposed to be some kind of comical picture. And this is clearly related to me. So, you know, you got the unicorn. This unicorn now looks brolic. This thing is probably the most muscular horse I've ever seen compared to the last one. This one's like, this one's for a child. This one is clearly for war. Like, this guy is brolic. That is absolutely hilarious. Very good job. And we got one more. Again, we'll contact you right after this. Here's the last one here. It's clearly the unicorn that does it for me. So if there's a trend to see here, and it just makes perfect sense. So when the person submitted it, competition for best Photoshop picture of Ash Trades to win the free account. Since he uses the unicorn model, I figured this would be perfect. Behold, Ash Trades spotted in the woods with his pet. A wild Ash Trades. Very good job. Again, why does this look like me? I don't know. That is quite scary. I feel like that looks just like me. They could have made me a little more buff. I would have appreciated that. But here we are. It's just crazy how this like actually looks like me. AI is scary, man. So very good job. Just some fun on a Friday. Congratulations to the winners. We will contact you afterwards. We will contact you afterwards. Just to wrap it up, take a look one last time. I think the first one's my favorite out of all of them. This one's my second favorite. This one's definitely my favorite. My deal is 1K like, folks. That is just perfect. So just a little bit of fun, just a little bit of entertainment as well. That way we can get some entertainment in, some education in, some value, some giveaways. We got the experts that come on here, some amazing guests, some amazing hosts. All around, well-rounded, amazing stream. I'm going to have to print these out, and I'm going to have to place them in, I'm going to frame them and put them in the background after this. All right, so back to the charts. We got 20 minutes left here. We got 20 minutes left here. So now if you want to do any types of questions, any type of information, we can go over some, information regarding psychology, some mental intelligence. We can go over the charts. We can talk about the model. Feel free to throw any kind of questions in chat. I'll head back over to chat. We can go over some information for the last 20 minutes. And right out of the gate with a phenomenal question. How do you manage your emotions, maintain discipline when you have several losing trades and your analysis was on point? So first things first is you have to understand that we're not here to predict where the market is going. We cannot tell the future, okay? Once you can submit to the fact that once you enter a trade, there's an unknown waiting for you on the other side of entering that trade, then you can allow the probabilities to play out. The way that we put ourselves in better positions is doing our due diligence up until that point of time. Okay? Completing your analysis, defining your edge, defining your risk, and then strictly implementing that risk. Okay? The market will do what it wants whenever it wants to do it. And when you submit to the fact that we cannot tell the future, that is going to help your management. Then you're going to allow the process to play out. Okay, so that's the first thing in terms of a technical answer, like price action answer. And then in terms of mental or emotional answer for that question, read these 7 things before every single one of your trading sessions. Speak these into existence. Number 1, I'm a consistent, successful trader because I objectively define my edges. Okay, objectively means without influence. You're reading price for what it's giving you. So that's number 1. Number 2 is I predefine the risk of every trade. So you predefine the risk because you have a model in which you trade, which shows you what the entry is and what the invalidation is and what the take profit is. So you already know the risk before you take the risk. Third one is I completely accept that risk or I'm willing to let the trade go. Okay, so either you've accepted the risk before the risk is taken or you don't take any risk at all. Number 4 is I act upon my edges without hesitation or reservation. You're executing your model. You have discipline in that model. That's what that means. Okay. Number 5, I pay myself as the market makes money available to me. This completely gets rid of greed, right? Instead of thinking you need a certain dollar amount, instead of forcing more money into your position than what's given to you. Okay. These are affirmations that are going to get you into the right mindset heading into every single day. Number 6, I continually monitor my susceptibility to making errors. You're going to have losers. You have to understand that. It's inevitable to have losers in this business. Okay, so if you can't accept that, if you can't have the rational, emotional response to having a loser, it's going to be very hard to make progress here. You have to be objective to both your winners and your losers. Lastly, last affirmation, I understand the absolute necessity of these principles of consistent success, and therefore I never violate them. Right? You follow what you say you're going to do. Your actions align with that, and you don't violate those rules. I highly suggest everybody speaks those affirmations into existence before you even start your trading session. Right? You have to get your mind right. You have to be ready. Practice how you play. Phenomenal question. That was a great question to start. Any books for recommendations? The Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogard. Phenomenal book. Really helps with mental intelligence. Let me just pull up my other books real quick. Give me 2 more seconds. Give me 2 more seconds. I'll find them. The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. Another phenomenal one. Principles by Ray Dalio. Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. Everyone should know that one. That one's a well-known book. Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. I talk about extreme ownership all the time. Something we all need to be running a business. The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Another very good one for mindset. And then lastly, Trading Mindfully by Gary Dayton. I highly suggest everybody takes a look into those books. It might just be my opinion, but this game is truly 80% mental and 20% chart. You have to win the war in your mind. If you can, then you'll be able to properly manage your risk. You'll be able to have discipline in executing your edge. Ash, I'd love to hear your thoughts on long-term perspective in trading, how sticking to your rules helps you stay profitable over time, even if you take some losses on certain days. Yeah, this is a phenomenal question, right? So let's think about if we were testing some variables, right? Because a lot of people like to backtest. So they gather data by backtesting. Now, if you were to be changing your variables every single time you take a trade, the accuracy of that data is not very accurate. This is why we have a model. This is why I have a model. This is why I have certain reasons how or why I do things. Because my data is very accurate, right? So then once you collect enough data to understand your largest losing streaks, your largest drawdowns, then you can start managing your risk properly to make sure you stay in this game for the long term. Okay, so having a model gives you the reasons how or why you do something. And then once you have a model, you can then collect data to see if it's profitable long term. Because once you have that data, that's where the conviction comes from. If you know that it's profitable long term, when you're in, a 7-loss streak and you know that your largest losing streak is 8 losses, you're only 2 trades away from your next winner. Right? So mentally, you'll know that you're almost out of that rut. And that type of conviction helps you long term. That helps you stay in the game instead of thinking, I'm down bad. Let me just double my size to think I can make it all back. That's like one of the most intrusive thoughts you can have and something that's going to blow all of your accounts. But if you have that data to have that conviction, you're not going to do that. Last part to that answer is having a repeatable process, right? In terms of making this long term, you need to have a repeatable process so that you can complete it over time. If you're always discretionarily trading, that's going to be hard to repeat, right? Because what happens the one day you come in here tilted? What happens the one day you come in here in a rush? So put those processes in place to allow you to be here long term, both in terms of risk management, both in terms of mental and emotional controls. Very, very good question. So we're just doing a little Q&A. We had a little bit of fun on a Friday. Okay. Just doing a little bit of Q&A now to close up the week. We got another 10 minutes before the stream ends. So throw any question or comment in chat. We're gladly going over any type of question, whether it's regarding how I trade, any mental or emotional intelligence, anything regarding trading. Ash, what is the size of your trades since you only take 2 trades a week? How many contracts and what is the profit goal? Once again, there is no goal. The only goal is to strictly follow my plan, strictly implement my risk management. So in terms of a goal, if I completed my process to the best of my abilities and I followed my plan, that would be the goal. The result is just a byproduct. So there is no monetary goal. It's whether I followed my process or not. That would be the goal. In terms of sizing, I just got put into a live account at MyFundedFutures. The daily loss limit is $500. Okay, so any one of my trades, the market determines the stop, the market determines the entry, the market determines the take profit. So let's just go and look at the last trade that occurred. Right, here's the last trade. It was yesterday. Here's the trade that occurred yesterday. It was a long position right here. Okay. So this was the trade. This is the last trade that I took this week. Now, what I just stated was the market determines the entry because I enter at the beginning of the breaker block. The market determines invalidation. Invalidation goes at the low. And then I aim for 2R. So now that I know where entry, take profit, and stop loss go, then I can measure risk management. So in terms of size, that was the second part of your question. Size changes all the time because the market has different volatility throughout the time. So a stop loss for yesterday might be larger than a stop loss for last week. The market determines the volatility. So, right, so we're on MNQ, right? So each point equals $2 in a change in your P&L. So 76 points, so it's 76.5. So we'll just round up and we'll say 77 points times 2 is $154. Right, so $154. If my daily loss limit is $500, I can have 2 contracts on this because then the risk for this position would be $308. Right, so the answer to that question is the market determines the stop, the market determines the entry, and I aim for 2R. Depending on how many points it is to invalidation is what changes the size. So not every position is the same size. Very good question. So we'll take probably one more question before we start the weekend. We got another 6 minutes here. Throw a question or comment in chat. We can go over some more information for the next 5 minutes. If you had to start over with $1,000 and your current knowledge, how would you grow that account? I would take part of that money, buy a funded account. I would buy the 50K expert account at MyFundedFutures. Instead of using that $1,000 in a cash account, I would use leverage, which would be prop firms. Okay. So I would take that money, buy a MyFundedFutures account, because that's what leverage is. The amount of money you would need to trade a contract of NQ on one of these platforms is a lot more money than it takes to buy an eval at MyFundedFutures. That's what leverage is. Okay, so I would take a smaller portion of that money to buy an account, and then I would work towards payouts at MyFundedFutures. Then I would take the payouts and bring that back to my cash account. That's what I would use to fund that cash account or grow that cash account. Okay, so instead of starting a cash account, I would use prop firms, specifically the 50K expert account at MyFundedFutures. In my opinion, that is the best prop firm account you can get. Ash, I'm a little lost. You enter a couple of trades a week. Your risk is less than $500. $380 on yesterday's trade. That means you make max 2K a week with no losses. That's it? All right, so we need to change the mindset here. Let's think about losing $500 every single day. How about that? Would you want to lose $1,000 a week, or would you want to make $2,000 a week? If you're going to sit there and say that 2K a week is not enough, then I highly suggest you change your viewpoint. There's a lot of places in this world that, $2K a week is, you're living like a king. So I would suggest you change that viewpoint. I think you should think in terms of risk instead of reward, right? So you could be taking 2 losses every day. Then you'd be losing $1,000 a week. That feels bad. Last part of that question is, you realize you can copy trade on 3 different funded accounts, right? So let's just say we had 3 50K expert accounts. 2K times 3, is that enough? I'm sorry, but I really think you got to change that mindset. That wasn't the point. Sorry if I made it sound like that. I figured you would be making a lot more than that. I'm not looking to compare to anybody. I'm very happy with my payouts. you got to also realize that compounding is a very strong tool, right? So let's say you're just making 2K a week in the beginning, but what happens when your account grows double in size and now your position sizing is 2 times larger than it was in the beginning? Now you're making 4K a week. You got to realize that process over profits, and then allow compounding do the heavy lifting. Let alone the fact that only about 1% of society is even profitable in this market. So let's just worry about getting profitable first, and then worry about any type of monetary goal. All right, well, phenomenal week. That is the end of our week. I'm very happy that we got to spend some time doing a Q&A. Everybody enjoy the long weekend. Monday is a holiday, so remember that. I greatly appreciate everybody that was here. Thank you all. Remember that we will be going live again next week, so get ready for next week's live stream. Let's go touch some grass. Let's go do something good for the soul. Let's recharge the batteries. Get some sun. Enjoy the weekend. And let's come back ready to work next week. I hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll see you next week.